The 1979 miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot, directed by Toby Hooper, is rich with symbolism and imagery that enhance its themes and deepen the horror. The 2024 adaptation is going to require the same level of symbolism and imagery to even come close to the 1979 adaptation. In this video, we will focus on the symbolism and imagery of the 1979 adaptation and how the new adaptation needs these in order to be even considered a good adaptation of the novel. Through the careful use of visual and narrative symbols, the miniseries explores the nature of evil, the loss of innocence, and the corruption of a community. Here's an in-depth look at the symbolism and imagery in Salem's Lot. Part 1 consists of the Marston House as a symbol. 1. The heart of evil. The Marston House, perched ominously above the town of Jerusalem's Lot, is a central symbol in the miniseries. It represents the physical and metaphysical heart of evil in the town. The house's decayed and sinister appearance suggests that it is more than just a building. It's a malevolent force, almost alive, exerting a dark influence over the town. 2. The symbol of corruption and decay. The Marston House's dilapidated condition mirrors the moral and spiritual decay spreading through Salem's Lot. Its looming presence over the town symbolizes the inescapable reach of evil, which corrupts everything it touches. The house's history of violence and madness, linked to the former owner, Hubert Marston, further cements its role as a symbol of long-standing inherent evil. 3. The haunted past. For Ben Mears, the Marston House symbolizes his haunted past and unresolved fears. His return to Salem's Lot is driven by a need to confront the terror associated with the house, making it a symbol of personal and collective trauma that must be faced and overcome. Part 2. The vampires as symbols of corruption and death. 1. Vampirism as a metaphor for corruption. The vampires in Salem's Lot symbolize the spread of corruption and moral decay within the town. As more residents become vampires, the town's descent into darkness reflects the ease with which evil can spread when unchecked. Vampirism, in the miniseries, can also be seen as a metaphor for the loss of humanity and the surrender to base, primal instincts. 2. The loss of innocence. The transformation of Danny and Ralphie Glick into vampires symbolizes the ultimate loss of innocence. The fact that even the youngest and most vulnerable are not spared highlights the pervasive nature of the evil engulfing Salem's Lot. Their conversion into creatures of the night serves as a powerful image of innocence corrupted and destroyed. 3. Undead as a reflection of the town's deadness. The vampires, with their pale, lifeless appearances, mirror the stagnation and spiritual deadness of the town itself. Jerusalem's Lot, already depicted as a place in decline, becomes a ghost town populated by the undead, symbolizing the complete triumph of death over life. Part 3. The fog and mist as symbols of uncertainty and fear. 1. The enshrouding mist. Fog and mist are recurring elements in Salem's Lot, often accompanying the appearance of vampires. The mist serves as a symbol of uncertainty and the blurring of reality and nightmare. It obscures vision, making the familiar unfamiliar and heightening the sense of fear and vulnerability among the characters. The mist is also a metaphor for the unseen and insidious nature of the evil spreading through the town, something that creeps in quietly, unnoticed, until it's too late. 2. Symbol of the supernatural. The unnatural mist is often a harbinger of the supernatural events that follow. It acts as a visual cue to the audience, signaling the presence of the vampires and the otherworldly influence that is taking hold of the town. This imagery contributes to the gothic atmosphere of the miniseries, where nature itself seems to be in league with the forces of darkness. 3. The windows as portals and barriers. Windows as portals for evil. Windows play a significant symbolic role in the miniseries, often depicted as fragile barriers between the safety of the home and the dangers lurking outside. The most iconic example is the scene where Ralphie Glick, now a vampire, floats outside Mark Petrie's bedroom window, scratching at the glass to be let in. This image is laden with symbolism. The window represents the thin line between innocence inside and corruption outside, between safety and danger. The fact that vampires must be invited in to cross this barrier adds a layer of psychological horror, emphasizing the idea that evil can only enter when we allow it. 4. Broken windows as signs of breached security. When windows are shattered, it symbolizes the breach of safety and the penetration of evil into what was once considered a sanctuary. This imagery reinforces the vulnerability of the town's residents and the inevitability of their fall to the vampire plague. Part 4. Symbolism of isolation and entrapment. 1. Empty streets and abandoned places. The frequent use of empty streets, abandoned buildings, and isolated characters underscores the theme of isolation in Salem's lot. As the vampire infestation grows, the town becomes increasingly desolate, symbolizing the isolation of individuals as they are picked off one by one. This imagery creates a sense of entrapment, as there is nowhere safe to turn, and the once thriving community becomes a ghost town. 2. The Marston House as a prison. The Marston House not only symbolizes evil, but also serves as a prison for its victims, both metaphorically and literally. The house traps the spirits of those who have died there, like Hubert Marston and his victims, creating an oppressive atmosphere where the past horrors continue to exert their influence. This entrapment echoes the broader theme of characters being unable to escape their pasts or the grip of the vampires. In conclusion, the symbolism and imagery in Salem's Lot, 1979, are integral to its effectiveness as a horror narrative. Toby Hooper and his team used these elements to create a rich visual language that enhances the story's themes of corruption, decay, and the pervasive nature of evil. Through symbols like the Marston House, the cross, and the mist, the miniseries transcends its surface-level horror to explore deeper psychological and moral concerns. These symbolic elements contribute to the lasting impact of Salem's Lot as a seminal work in the horror genre, ensuring that its images and themes continue to resonate with audiences long after the credits roll.